I am a 35-year-old construction manager in Denver, with a good job, a beautiful home, and a loving wife named Elena. 6 months ago, my younger sister Amanda called me in tears, saying she and her 3 kids were facing eviction after her divorce from Mark. Being the protective big brother I always was, I offered them a place to stay until she could get back on her feet. Elena was hesitant but agreed. Family comes first. We never imagined that our generosity would lead to the unthinkable betrayal of Amanda calling the police on Elena over a petty argument resulting in my wife being handcuffed and taken away, while my sister stood there with a satisfied smirk. Before I tell you how my own sister betrayed us after we gave her everything, let me know where you are watching from, and hit subscribe if you have ever had your generosity thrown back in your face. Before Amanda moved in, Elena and I had built a comfortable life together. I worked my way up at Wilson Construction over the last 10 years, while Elena established herself as a freelance graphic designer with an impressive client list. Our 4-bedroom house in the Stapleton neighborhood gave us plenty of space and a short commute to my job sites. We had been married for 5 years and were discussing starting our own family soon, with one of the spare bedrooms already designated as a future nursery. Growing up, Amanda and I had a rough childhood. Our father was an alcoholic, who could be verbally abusive when drinking, which was most nights. Our mother worked double shifts as a nurse to keep us fed and housed, meaning she was rarely home. As the older sibling by 6 years, I naturally fell into the role of Amanda's protector. I would distract our father when he started on one of his tirades, make sure Amanda had lunch for school, and even attended her parent-teacher conferences when Mom could not get time off work. This protective dynamic carried into our adult lives with me, often helping Amanda out of financial scrapes or relationship problems. I paid for her car repair last year and covered the security deposit on her apartment after her previous rental had plumbing issues. Elena occasionally commented that Amanda seemed to rely on my help rather than developing her own problem-solving skills. But I always brushed it off as just doing what a good brother should. Amanda had been married to Mark for 12 years, a relationship that seemed stable from the outside. They had 3 children together: Tyler, their 10-year-old son who was smart but shy; Sophia, their energetic 8-year-old daughter who loved dance; and Max, their 6-year-old son who never seemed to run out of energy. We would see them at family gatherings and occasional weekend barbecues, but there were no obvious signs of trouble until Amanda called me at 11:30 at night 6 months ago. "Chuck, I do not know what to do," she sobbed into the phone. "Mark gambled away our savings. All of it. Even the kids' college funds. We are being evicted next week and I have nowhere to go." The story spilled out between tears. Mark had a gambling addiction he had hidden for years. What started as occasional poker games with friends had escalated to online betting and eventually casino trips where he would disappear for entire weekends. He had maxed out their credit cards, taken loans against his 401k, and finally emptied their joint bank accounts before Amanda discovered the truth. "The divorce is final next month, but he has nothing left to give us in the settlement," Amanda explained. "He is living with his brother now. I have been looking for apartments, but with no recent work history and 3 kids, nobody will rent to me without 6 months' rent up front. Mom is in that tiny 1-bedroom condo in Florida. I am completely stuck." That night, I discussed the situation with Elena after Amanda's call. We sat at our kitchen island, cups of tea growing cold between us as we weighed our options. "I know she is your sister, but this is a big ask," Elena said carefully. "We have our own lives and routines. Having 3 kids and another adult here would change everything." "It would just be temporary," I assured her. 6 months max, just until she can find a job and save enough for her own place. Elena sighed, twisting her wedding ring thoughtfully. "We have different parenting styles. Amanda lets her kids do whatever they want while we keep a more structured household. And what about my work? I need quiet during client calls and design sessions." These were all valid concerns. Elena worked from home 3 days a week. In the spare bedroom we had converted into her office. Her concentration was important for her detailed design work. "We will establish ground rules," I promised. "The kids will need to respect your work space and time. Amanda can contribute to groceries once she finds work. We can make this work, honey. She is family, and they have nowhere else to go." After further discussion, Elena agreed, her compassion winning out despite her reservations. 6 months, she stressed. We need a clear timeline, or this could drift into a permanent arrangement. The following weekend was moving day. Amanda arrived with her minivan and a small rental truck containing their belongings. The children bounded into the house, excited by the novelty of their temporary home. Tyler immediately asked about the Wi-Fi password. Sophia wanted to know which room would be hers, and Max ran circles around our living room, accidentally knocking over a vase that Elena quickly caught. "Thank you both so much," Amanda said, hugging us with tears in her eyes. "I do not know what we would have done without you. This is just until I get on my feet, I promise." We spent the day arranging furniture and unpacking essentials. Elena helped Sophia decorate her portion of the room she would share with her mother, hanging fairy lights and arranging stuffed animals on the bed. I assembled a bunk bed for the boys in another spare room, while Amanda sorted through kitchen items to integrate with ours. That evening, we had a family meeting to establish house rules. Elena had typed up a simple list: shared chores on a rotating schedule, quiet hours during her work calls, bedtimes for the children on school nights, and expectations for shared expenses once Amanda found employment. Amanda nodded agreeably to everything, expressing nothing but gratitude. The first week went relatively smoothly as everyone adjusted to the new living arrangement. Amanda spent days submitting job applications online and taking the kids to tour their new school. Elena rearranged her work schedule to accommodate the increased household activity, and I took everyone out for pizza Friday night to celebrate the successful transition. But looking back, there were early warning signs I chose to ignore. Amanda forgot to clean the kitchen after making the kids breakfast, leaving Elena to face a mess before her workday started. When Elena mentioned our usual household practice of shoes off at the door, Amanda made a joke about the princess and her castle rules when she thought Elena could not hear. The children's bedtimes began stretching later and later, with Amanda shrugging it off as adjusting to a new environment. I should have addressed these issues immediately. Instead, I made excuses for my sister and avoided confrontation, setting the stage for the much larger conflicts to come. 2 months into Amanda's stay, the initial goodwill had eroded substantially. Despite her promises to find work quickly, Amanda remained unemployed. Her excuses evolved from waiting to hear back to increasingly selective criteria about what jobs she would consider. "I cannot work at the mall, Chuck. Those hours would leave nobody to pick up the kids from school," she complained one evening. When Elena suggested after-school programs, Amanda dismissed the idea as letting strangers raise my children. Another position was beneath her qualifications, despite her limited work experience as an administrative assistant before having children. A promising opportunity at a doctor's office was rejected because the commute would be too stressful. Meanwhile, our household expenses had skyrocketed. The grocery bill is 3 times what it was before they moved in. Elena pointed out one night after Amanda took the kids to a school function. She showed me the credit card statement on her laptop, and she has not contributed anything yet, even though we agreed she would pay for their food once she got her final divorce settlement last month. The financial strain was just one aspect of the deteriorating situation. Amanda had gradually begun taking over the house in subtle ways. She rearranged the kitchen cabinets, without asking, claiming it was more efficient, despite Elena's frustration at not being able to find anything. She began cooking meals that only catered to her children's picky preferences, leaving Elena and me to fend for ourselves most nights. The noise level became a constant issue. Despite the agreed-upon quiet hours during Elena's client calls, Amanda would suddenly decide those times were perfect for vacuuming the hallway or having animated phone conversations just outside Elena's office door. Twice, Elena lost her concentration during important design presentations, with clients commenting on the background noise. "I cannot work like this," Elena told me, after a particularly disruptive day. I had to mute myself 6 times during my call with the Hernandez account because Max was running up and down the hallway screaming, and Amanda did nothing to stop him. I found myself working longer hours at construction sites, volunteering for weekend shifts to avoid the tension at home. This only made things worse, as Elena felt abandoned on the front lines of a battle I had helped create. The situation reached a new level when Amanda began actively undermining Elena's authority with the children. When Elena asked Tyler to lower the volume on his video game because she was on a work call, Amanda came in afterward and told him, Do not worry about what Aunt Elena said. This is our home too now, and you can play how you want. The incident with Elena's makeup kit became a breaking point in their relationship. Elena had invested in a professional kit for an upcoming photo shoot with a major client. She kept it organized in a special case in our bathroom. One morning she discovered it had been used with powders mixed together and an expensive brush damaged beyond repair. When confronted, Amanda casually admitted using it for a job interview. I needed to look my best, and your stuff is better than mine. What is the big deal? That is what family does they share. That was $800 worth of professional supplies I need for my work tomorrow, Elena responded visibly, restraining her anger. Now I have to rush order replacements overnight. Well, maybe if you had kids, you would understand that sometimes you have to make sacrifices. Amanda replied with a dismissive wave of her hand. After that incident, Elena installed a lock on our bedroom door, and password protected her home office when not in use. Amanda portrayed these boundaries as personal attacks, telling the children, Aunt Elena does not want us touching her things because she does not really want us here. One afternoon while working from home, I overheard Amanda on the phone with a friend in the backyard. Living with my brother would be fine, but his wife is so controlling. Everything has to be her way. The kids are walking on eggshells. I cannot wait until we can get out of here, but apartments are so expensive right now. I said nothing, but later that week my mother called from Florida. Amanda tells me Elena is making life difficult for them, she said. I know it must be hard having a full house, but those kids have been through enough with the divorce. I found myself defending Elena while also trying not to criticize Amanda outright. The divided loyalty was eating me up inside. Elena's professional life took a direct hit when she missed an important deadline because Amanda forgot to tell her about an urgent message. A client had called the house phone when Elena was grocery shopping, needing revisions by the end of day. Amanda took the message but only mentioned it 2 days later in passing. Oh, some client called the other day. I think they needed something. I wrote it down somewhere. The lost opportunity cost Elena a regular contract worth several $1,000s a year. The tension in the house became unbearable. Elena began eating dinner in our bedroom most nights. Amanda began inviting friends over without asking, treating the house as entirely her property. During family gatherings, I caught Amanda rolling her eyes whenever Elena spoke, making faces behind her back that the children mimicked. When I tried to address the issues with Amanda privately, she broke down in tears. I cannot believe you would take her side against your own sister and niece and nephews, she sobbed. Where are we supposed to go? Back on the street. The manipulation was effective. I backed down, promising things would improve. But then Amanda began dropping hints about staying longer than our agreed-upon 6 months. The housing market is so tight right now, she commented casually. And moving mid-school year would be so hard on the kids. I could see Elena's spirit diminishing day by day, her once vibrant personality growing subdued under the strain of constant tension in her own home. Something had to give, but I never imagined just how explosive the breaking point would be. 4 months into what was supposed to be a 6-month arrangement, Elena reached her breaking point. After a particularly chaotic weekend with Amanda's children running unchecked through the house and leaving trails of destruction in their wake, Elena pulled me into our bedroom for a serious conversation. This cannot continue, Chuck. We need to establish a firm move-out date. If we do not set boundaries now, they will never leave, she insisted, her voice tight with frustration. It is affecting my work, my mental health, and our marriage. I knew she was right. The next evening, I called a family meeting with Amanda after the children went to bed. We sat at the dining room table, the atmosphere tense, as I clarified our expectations. We agreed this would be temporary, and you have been here 4 months now, I began carefully. Elena and I think we need a clear timeline for your transition to your own place. We want to help you make that happen by August 1st, which gives you about 2 more months to prepare. Amanda's face immediately crumpled, though I noticed no actual tears fell. I thought you understood how hard this is for me, she said. The rental market is impossible right now, and I am still trying to find the right job that works with the kids' schedules. Elena maintained a calm tone, even offering concrete assistance. I have researched some apartment complexes that have openings in your price range. I am also happy to help you update your resume to highlight your skills better. After some back and forth, Amanda reluctantly agreed to the August 1st deadline, but her demeanor changed immediately. She began giving both of us the silent treatment, speaking only when absolutely necessary. More concerning was how she encouraged the children to be needier with me, sending them to ask for help with homework or to play games whenever Elena and I were having rare moments alone together. The situation deteriorated further when I had to leave town for 3 days to oversee a critical phase of a construction project in Colorado Springs. The timing was unfortunate, as Elena was simultaneously working on a major presentation for potential clients that could significantly expand her business. "Will you be okay while I am gone?" I asked Elena the night before my departure. "I can try to reschedule if you need me here." "I will manage," she assured me, though. Concern flickered across her face. "Just keep your phone handy in case anything comes up." Unfortunately, my project site was in a remote area with spotty cell service. I warned Elena I might be unreachable during certain hours, particularly during critical concrete pours, when I would be fully engaged with the construction team. The morning of Elena's important video presentation, disaster struck. According to what Elena later told me, she had reminded everyone the previous night that she needed complete quiet from 9:30 a.m. until noon for her meeting. She had set up her office, tested her equipment, and prepared all her materials. She even set out quiet activities for the children in their rooms. What she did not know was that Amanda had deliberately scheduled a playdate at our house that morning, inviting 2 children from the neighborhood to join her 3 kids. By 10:15 a.m., 5 children were running through the house screaming and playing tag in the hallway directly outside Elena's office. Elena texted Amanda, who was in the kitchen, "Please keep the kids quiet. I am in the middle of my presentation." Amanda responded, "They are just being kids. Cannot control everything." The noise continued with repeated interruptions, forcing Elena to mute herself during her presentation. The potential clients were visibly annoyed by the disruptions, and the meeting ended with vague promises to be in touch rather than the contract discussion Elena had hoped for. Immediately after the call, Elena left her office to find juice spilled across our expensive wool living room rug, with no attempt made to clean it up. Amanda was sitting on the deck scrolling through her phone while the children played unsupervised. "What happened to keeping them quiet during my meeting?" Elena demanded, her professional composure finally cracking after months of provocation. "And who is going to clean up that juice before it stains permanently?" "Do not yell at me," Amanda replied without looking up from her phone. "I am doing my best as a single mother. Not everything revolves around your precious work." "This is our house, Amanda. You promised to respect my work hours." "That presentation was worth thousands of dollars," Elena responded, her voice rising in frustration. Amanda suddenly held up her phone, pointing it at Elena. "I am recording this so Chuck can see how you really treat us when he is not around. Go ahead. Keep showing your true colors." Elena, pushed beyond endurance, reached for the phone. "Stop recording me in my own home." According to Elena, she briefly touched the phone before immediately pulling her hand back, never actually taking or damaging it. That momentary contact was all Amanda needed. She dramatically yanked the phone back, clutching it to her chest, as though protecting it from assault. Without another word, she rushed to the bathroom, locked the door, and made a call while Elena stood in the living room, bewildered by the escalation. 20 minutes later, there was a knock at the door. Elena opened it to find 2 police officers responding to a domestic disturbance call. Amanda emerged from the bathroom, with tear-streaked cheeks, putting on a performance worthy of an Oscar. "She attacked me when I was just sitting here watching my children," Amanda told the officers, her voice quivering. "She grabbed my phone and tried to break it. I am afraid for my safety and my children's safety." The children, confused by the police presence, began crying. Amanda gathered them around her protectively, further selling the image of a threatened mother. "It is okay, the police will protect us from Aunt Elena," she told them loudly enough for the officers to hear. The officers separated the women for questioning. Elena, still in shock, tried to explain the situation, clearly describing the months of tension and the conflict over the interrupted meeting. However, Amanda's tears and role as a concerned mother created a more compelling narrative for the officers who had only the immediate situation to judge. "Mrs. Anderson, we need you to come with us to answer some questions at the station," one officer finally said to Elena. "Please gather anything essential you might need. You are arresting me." "In my own home?" Elena asked incredulously. "For what?" "At this time we are detaining you for questioning regarding a domestic disturbance and potential assault," the officer explained. "You have the right to remain silent." Elena stood frozen as the officer continued reading her rights. She was allowed to grab her purse before being escorted out in handcuffs past neighbors who had gathered on their front lawns to witness the spectacle. As she was placed in the police car, she caught a glimpse of Amanda through the window. For just a moment, when the officers were not looking, Amanda's distressed expression transformed into a satisfied smirk. I was in the middle of overseeing a critical concrete pour when my phone vibrated repeatedly in my pocket. When I finally checked it during a break, I had 15 missed calls, some from our home number, several from a number I did not recognize, and 2 from Elena's parents. Something was clearly wrong. I called the unknown number first, as it had called most recently. It was the county jail. My wife had been arrested and needed me to come post bail. I felt like the ground had disappeared beneath my feet as I raced to my truck, telling my foreman I had a family emergency. The entire 2-hour drive back to Denver, I tried repeatedly to reach Amanda with no success. When I finally arrived home, I found her sitting on the couch with all 3 children huddled around her watching a movie as if it were a normal evening. "What happened?" I demanded, still in my dusty work clothes. "Where is Elena?" Amanda launched into her version of events, describing Elena as having completely lost control and lunging at her in a violent rage. According to her, she had no choice but to call the police for the children's protection. "She is unstable," Chuck Amanda concluded with a concerned expression. "Maybe this is a wake-up call for her to get the help she needs." As she spoke, something felt profoundly wrong. The story did not match the Elena I had known and loved for years. And beneath Amanda's concerned facade, I detected something I had never seen before in my sister calculation. My first priority was getting Elena out of jail. I immediately called my college friend Michael, who now practiced family law. He met me at the county jail, where I learned Elena had spent 4 uncomfortable hours in a holding cell before being processed and allowed her phone call. "While you were coming here, your sister changed the locks on your bedroom door." Elena told me, her eyes red from crying, still wearing the same clothes from that morning. "She told me she did it to secure your valuables, since I clearly cannot be trusted." The betrayal cut deep. While my wife sat in a jail cell, my sister had been changing locks in our house. It was a calculated move to gain further control, and it worked. When we returned home, we discovered we were indeed locked out of our own bedroom and had to sleep in the guest room. The next morning, while Elena showered, I confronted Amanda alone. "I need you to tell me exactly what happened yesterday," I said, placing my phone on the counter between us, secretly recording the conversation. Amanda repeated her story about Elena's attack, but as I pressed for specific details, her account began unraveling. First, she claimed Elena had thrown her against the wall, then backtracked to, "Well, she grabbed my arm really hard." The timing changed, the sequence of events shifted, and her description of Elena's behavior became increasingly exaggerated. "It sounds like you are not sure exactly what happened," I said carefully. "Maybe things got confused in the moment. Are you calling me a liar?" Amanda's voice rose defensively. "Your wife attacked me, and you are taking her side. I am just trying to understand what happened in my house while I was gone," I replied. Then I played my trump card. "Before I make any decisions, I should probably review the security camera footage." Amanda's expression changed instantly from righteous anger to visible panic. "What cameras?" "We installed a security system after the break in down the street 3 months ago," I explained, which was true. After a neighbor's home had been burglarized, Elena and I had invested in indoor and outdoor cameras covering the main living areas. They record continuously to the cloud. I can access all footage from yesterday through my phone. Amanda stammered something about privacy violations, but I was already pulling up the app. The footage told the true story, Elena calmly asking for quiet, Amanda deliberately ignoring her requests, Elena's understandable frustration after her meeting, and most importantly, no physical aggression whatsoever. The footage clearly showed Elena briefly reaching toward the phone but not grabbing it or Amanda. "I think you need to find somewhere else to live," I said quietly after showing her the damning evidence. "Not in August." Now. Amanda shifted tactics, immediately tears flowing on command. "Where will we go? You would put your own sister and her children out on the street. You had my wife arrested in our own home." I reminded her. "You lied to the police. You changed our locks. This is not a simple disagreement, Amanda. This is a total breach of trust." I took the security footage to the police station that morning, meeting with a detective to explain the situation. After reviewing the evidence, all charges against Elena were dropped. The officer who had made the arrest seemed genuinely apologetic when I showed him how Amanda had manufactured the entire incident. When we returned home, I delivered my ultimatum to Amanda: "You have 48 hours to find somewhere else to live. I will pay for 2 weeks at an extended stay hotel to give you time to make arrangements, but you cannot stay here another night." Amanda's final manipulation attempt was predictable. She called our mother, spinning a tale of unfair treatment and cruel eviction. This time, I was prepared. I had already sent the security footage to our mother, along with a timeline of Amanda's behavior over the past 4 months. "Your mother agrees with us," I told Amanda when she tried using that leverage. "She said she is disappointed in your behavior and that actions have consequences." Amanda's last defense crumbled. "What about the children?" she demanded. "Where will my babies sleep?" "I have already booked and paid for a 2-bedroom suite at the Residence Inn," I informed her. "They have a pool-free breakfast and are near the kids' school. I will help you move your essentials today, and we can arrange for the rest of your things later." The moving process was painful. The children were confused and upset, not understanding why they had to leave so suddenly. Tyler, old enough to sense the tension, asked me directly if they had done something wrong. I assured him that adult problems were not his fault, and promised we would still see each other regularly. Amanda maintained icy silence throughout the process, refusing to speak directly to either of us. As they drove away to the hotel, Sophia and Max waved sadly from the back window of Amanda's car. After they left, Elena and I discovered the true extent of Amanda's disrespect for our home. There were stains on carpets that had been hidden under strategically placed furniture, small holes in walls behind pictures. Several valuable items were missing, including Elena's pearl earrings from her grandmother and a signed first edition book from my collection. The emotional damage was even more significant. Elena suffered anxiety and nightmares about her arrest. She would startle when the doorbell rang, and client meetings became sources of stress rather than excitement. We began seeing a marriage counselor to help rebuild the trust and establish healthier family boundaries that had been so severely damaged. 2 weeks after Amanda's departure, I received an unexpected call from Mark, her ex-husband. After hearing about the incident from a mutual friend, he reached out to share his perspective. "What Amanda did to Elena is the same pattern she used throughout our marriage," he explained. "She would create conflict, play the victim, and use the children as shields. The gambling was real, and I take full responsibility for that mistake. But the narrative that I left them destitute was not the whole truth. There was money set aside for the children that she had access to." This revelation helped us understand we had been manipulated from the very beginning. The crisis that brought Amanda to our door had been at least partially manufactured to gain sympathy and support. Over the next 6 months, we rebuilt our lives with clear boundaries. We obtained a restraining order against Amanda after she began a campaign of harassment, including false complaints to Elena's clients and middle-of-the-night phone calls. Despite this, I maintained contact with my niece and nephews through scheduled visits away from our home, usually meeting at parks or family-friendly restaurants. The experience changed us profoundly. Elena and I recognized that while family is important, healthy boundaries are essential. We discovered strength in our marriage that we had not known existed, working together to reclaim our home and privacy. Perhaps the most unexpected outcome came a year later, when we decided to become certified foster parents. After seeing how truly vulnerable children could be caught in adult conflicts, We wanted to provide a stable, loving environment for kids who genuinely needed temporary shelter. The training helped us develop better boundary-setting skills and conflict resolution strategies that strengthened our relationship further. Looking back now, I realize that sometimes the family you choose is more loyal than the family you are born into. True family supports your growth without exploiting your generosity. Real love does not manipulate or deceive. And most importantly, helping others should never require sacrificing your own well-being or safety. Have you ever had to choose between a toxic family member and your spouse? Share your experience in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to show your support. And if you know someone struggling with family boundaries, share this video with them. It might help them recognize manipulation tactics before things escalate too far. Thank you for listening to my story. And remember, genuine love never asks you to set yourself on fire to keep others warm.